One small step for film. One giant leap for Interfellas.
It's very difficult to figure out overall if streaming is a net positive or negative to the movie industry, but I think it definitely ruined the movie theater experience.
100%.
Like the first thing I could think of is shortening the release period of time for movies, right? Back then, movies used to be in theaters for at least 3 months, I feel like.
Yep.
Now that it sounds kind of crazy to say, because now a movie stays in for a month if you're lucky.
Yeah.
The release window is like 30 days.
I know they have like preset contracts too. Like a lot of them are like 45 days, and then it goes right to Amazon Prime or HBO Max, for example. But agreed. And I know we touched on in a prior, like, you know, depending on how well the movie does, that obviously is going to lengthen its time. Like Top Gun Maverick, like we talked about, how that movie came out Memorial Day and it lasted till September.
Yeah.
But even like a good movie, like recently, like Project Hail Mary. It came out, what, in April? Or it might have been even a March
I think
release.
it was March, late March.
And it's already out on streaming.
Yeah.
Like, and all right, we just entered
Which is crazy though, because that's a long release time.
Now.
Like technically that lasted more than what it would typically be.
You're right, but for anybody who hadn't seen it,
right,
now you're like, oh, well, we're already past May. I might as well just wait.
And I even think of movies that started with, hey, it's dropping in theaters, but it's also releasing on streaming.
Yeah.
Like I remember The Batman when it came out on HBO Max, it was like already announced, like, hey, a month in, this shit is hitting streaming platforms. So it's like those non-movie goers that like don't love going to the theater are just gonna fucking wait.
Well, that's what happened with Tenet. That's what happened with Black Widow, and I know COVID played a factor in that, but they had these contracts. Like I think Scarlett Johansson made bank off the streaming deal because she knew right away it's going to Disney Plus, and whatever percentage of streams it gets, she's gonna. So why even, you know? Why force the theater?
And what sucks is, right, like we're already paying for all these streaming services out of pocket. So I understand for the viewer, hey, I'm already paying whatever $20 a month to get all access to these. You know, the licensing to all these movies, which we're going to go into that because of the whole Sony thing that just happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like, I don't blame them for waiting.
No.
Right? Like, you're not making a movie enticing enough for people to go, and you're already announcing, hey, in a month, we're going to get a kickback from the streaming platform. It completely changed how the movie going experience.
You mentioned the financials. You mentioned just how, you know, whatever the added total amount of how many streaming services people have, either way, it's worth it to stay home because movie tickets are expensive now.
Yeah.
Like on a non-discount day night or non-matinee. And then even the cost of concessions. Like you're dropping an arm and a leg. That's why, you know, we always got to smuggle in the candy from 7-Eleven.
Wait, you have to tell the story real quick. I'm giving you 30 seconds. What's the best thing you smuggled in? Because I know you're
best
like...
thing I smuggled in, coming from landscaping from Staten Island, just brought in a dozen bagels. Just stuffed it under the jacket. Me and my dad ripping bagels, watching a movie. They had nothing to say. I'm not paying for their fucking shit.
No, 100%. Like you know, speaking about financials, right? The physical media actually gave like other directors a chance to make films, and it's hard to like voice it, but it was a second wave of box office numbers. So studios would be more willing to give a random movie and a random director a shot because they're like, look, if there's even a finite amount of people that really enjoyed this film, they're going to probably buy the DVD because that's what you always did. If you loved the movie back then, you bought the DVD of it, or you go to like a Blockbuster and rent it. But like that completely second wave of box office revenue is eliminated from, I mean, obviously streaming platforms are now licensing. So that's where like the money is being shifted. But it's not significant enough to where, like, we need to bring back physical media. Yeah. And I was always like, well, you know, the ease of streaming is definitely worth it. But now they're removing 4K unless you pay the highest tier, some of these platforms. Yeah. The ads have gotten outrageous. You might as well watch cable.
Yeah. Then they're cracking down on the freaking households.
Oh, yeah. Sharing passwords. You can't share a password with somebody outside of your IP address. It's like... At what point have you not caved into becoming what
you swore to destroy?
Yeah, you've become exactly the fucking Obi-Wan over here.
I know.
Like, it's outrageous to think that we've gotten to this point.
Well, I mean, to kind of touch on what you were alluding to, like these studios, I mean, now everything's become so formulaic. There's so many unneeded sequels and remakes because these studios are just gonna take a quick cash grab, right? Let's bring back Ghostbusters from fucking 40 years ago because they can't think of a new idea.
Yeah.
And that's because they don't want to spend a large budget on an unknown, right? And I know you love and praise A24 for taking those risks.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's paid off in their last couple of films. I know you liked Obsession a lot, right?
Yeah. So what's crazy about that movie, I don't even know. I don't think that was A24. I think that was Focus Features. But anyway, indie filmmaking right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they only spent $750K. It literally just grossed $400 million worldwide.
Yeah.
So they gave someone a shot. They gave them a low budget. You don't need a lot of money to make. If the story is good, that's all you need. And it's interesting to see that didn't even hit streaming yet. No. It's still in theaters. Yeah. So it's grossing and it's just performing so well. And I'm happy because it's almost like, I don't want to say it's like revolutionary, but it's bringing, a chance for the regular person to make a movie.
Yeah.
Kane Parsons was A24, that was Backrooms. I know you didn't see that yet, but they're giving these people a shot and they're all coming from YouTube.
Yeah.
They're YouTube filmmakers. The kid is like, I don't know, 20 something years old, 19, I think even. And it's like, wow, like
that is crazy.
It's insane that studios are willing to just give someone a chance. But, when you divide it that way, we can get into how that's like a better structure on another episode.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted to touch on, I don't want to say like the financial aspect, but because streaming is so mainstream, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Like it almost incentivizes the viewer to pirate because, like you said, you add it up. Disney's now charging for another tier for 4K. How much? Netflix started out what, $7.99, $8.99 a month.
Yeah.
Now it's like close to $20 a month.
Right.
HBO Max, which I think is the best streaming platform, but that's not cheap. All of them. Paramount Plus. At what point have we strayed so far away with it? You might as well just pay for cable.
Yeah.
So now the incentive is to just stream it. You can just go on. We're not gonna give out our sources.
He's doxing himself. Hold up.
Yeah, hold up. A movie that's in theaters a month ago, like you said, not only is it coming to streaming in a month, it's coming to these illegal websites in less than a month because these guys are just getting the file and uploading it.
I mean, one thing I will say is, in the grand scheme, streaming is not that expensive, right? Even if it is $20-some a month, a movie ticket alone is $14, $13, and you're getting access to over 400 or 500 titles and IPs all. So like the numbers still make sense to me. The problem becomes, this is exactly what I wanted to get into with the whole Sony thing, and I don't know if you're very up on or in tune. So Sony just released the PlayStation, and like other Sony will never.
Yeah,
they won't make physical media.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, right. I don't like that.
Was it 2028? They said.
I believe so. It's eliminating the fact that you could share a game with a friend. Like all those things, fine, right? We're transitioning to a digital world. So be it. My problem is if you buy a movie on their server. So like, let's say you loved, I don't know, the Batman, and it was on there, and you can purchase it for $20.
Yeah.
They just removed over 500 titles of people that purchased the license to watch the movie. But again, in the terms of agreement that none of us have, unfortunately, the time to read, you've agreed to the fact that if they remove it from the platform, it's not our problem.
Yeah.
So now 500 titles have been completely wiped out from their server, and we paid the license, like we paid to own it.
Yeah.
So what's killing me is we technically don't own it then.
No.
So technically piracy isn't stealing.
No.
Because what are we stealing? We don't own anything.
No.
It's literally like them breaking in and stealing your physical copies.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Out of your house. You don't own it anymore.
That's insane. Well, I mean, like you said, it's so rare nowadays for anybody to even buy the physical copy because with all those platforms I just mentioned, there's a great likelihood that it's on one of them.
Yeah.
But the annoying part is when it bounces around. And that's kind of what you're kind of alluding to. Like if you're buying something and then you feel like, okay, now I don't need the hard copy. It's going to be on this cloud or whatever forever. Yeah. And then at their drop of a hat, they can be like, yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
I know. And it's so funny because, again, they're obviously making a lot of money on the older movies now that they're popping onto streaming, because I look at a movie like Scent of a Woman, you were waiting like 5 months and then you finally get to see it, and then the next day it dropped on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But what I love is, they're just shuffling licensing IPs.
It's almost like they're trading.
Yeah. It's literally like sitting down and trading baseball cards. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I don't want Babe Ruth today. You could take him. And then like, it just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't incentivize people to go to the theater. And that's the whole, right? These movies are again, they were made for the box office. Some of them, I don't know.
We always talk about Nolan and how he makes movies for the theaters. Tom Cruise, he makes movies for the theaters. But then there's also people who don't give a fuck. They're just like, we're just putting out, I don't want to say slop, but we are. We're just gonna, and that's what...
And that's what all the streaming services have become.
Well, exactly.
Slop.
Like Netflix originals, like let's be real.
Yeah. It was great.
It was.
Now it's so diluted because they have to keep up with the demand and keep people signing up for the next month and the next month that they, again, like, that's why in the beginning of this conversation I said it's difficult because there's so many pros to it as well, right? Like you have people always working, the industry, jobs.
Well, even something as simple as like, even flashback, 10 years might be too soon, but 15 years ago, like you had to still wait for your movie. Let's say you saw a movie in theaters, it's not coming to streaming for a while. You had to wait for that thing to drop.
Yeah.
Now, like, I think because people have so much at their fingertips that like why am I gonna go to the theater to take a chance on a movie that I might not like when I could just watch what I love because it's on this platform. It's on this platform.
Right. And you just reminded me of a study that was done, and I read the article. I'll have to try and find it to include it in like the bio or whatever, but they ran a study that the more options that people have to choose, the actual like less enjoyment they have, not only in choosing, but like the actual substance, because there's such a wide array of movies to watch, to stream, it like dilutes the fact of like the great movies, or like the viewing experience isn't the same. And it goes to show, we talked about this a while back, where it's like, everybody used to go see the newest movie that was coming out, and everyone was talking about it, and like as a collective unit, as a community almost, they would all go and see them.
You have to go. Yo, you gotta go. Because if you didn't go, you're gonna get spoiled or you felt out of the loop.
Yep.
Now, like you said, now there's so much at your fingertips. You spend more time looking for the movie you want to watch than actually watching it, because in 15 minutes, if it doesn't grab you, a lot of people don't have, short attention spans. We'll get that's a different topic. But they're like, you know what? Screw this. I have 15 more movies I want to watch that are available. I'm just gonna go to that one.
Yep. Some people just want a background thing. They want to scroll on their phone. They throw on fucking AI background slop bullshit, and they just scroll on their phone. Don't pay attention.
I know.
That's not me. So like I spend hours just looking for something that I'm like, all right, the trailer looked good, the shots looked well.
Well, it's kind of funny because now like even like if I'm going to sit down and watch a movie, I almost like allot myself the time to look for the movie I want to watch.
Right. Because
I'm like, all right, I have 2.5 hours free. If I'm almost ruling out a 2.5 hour movie, I'm like, I need 15 minutes to look at what I want to watch.
At what point do we not progress until it's like a negative impact? Like there's so much good that's come with it, but there's also so much bad, and it's like we keep pushing and pushing and pushing. It's like when do we get to the point of where it's like, all right, it's actually making it worse?
Detrimental.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cancellieri. Bada bing, bada boom, bada boom.
So rather than like a specific movie that we're being a consigliere on, I think it's just the industry as a whole, what we can like kind of discuss on. They need to bring Blockbuster back.
Agreed.
I don't think it was just a nostalgia thing. I don't think it was because we grew up going there and the memories that we've had. I genuinely think the experience makes how do I put this into words? But like, it just makes the viewing better.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but like every Friday night we'd go to Blockbuster and pick out a movie that we might not watch that Friday, but that weekend we rented a movie. You would go there and you would, again, have somewhat of a movie in mind that you wanted to rent, but also you would just pick a movie by its cover, read the back or like the back of it, and just rent it.
Yeah.
Either it sucked or it was great. And there was always that element of surprise. You didn't know what you were getting when you went there.
Yeah. No, and I liked how, I'm sure, all right, at your local Blockbuster, whether the employees there had picks, hey, what's your recommendation?
Yeah.
If you end up getting accustomed with that person, again, human interaction, that whole element is gone in our lives for everything, but especially movies, that human interaction. Hey, you know what? You should check out The Matrix. And if you really loved it, then you're going to go back to that guy.
Yeah.
And then that's how you it's a community. And that's why we love Letterboxd, because that community is there, but it's online, right? But to your point, Blockbuster was just so cool, and I think everything in the current world has lost the color, but just the color, the posters, the cutouts, the toys and shit that they had.
I even think too, right, like that person who's at the clerk at that store is seeing what's moving. So like, let's be real here. When fucking a new show drops on, whoever's running the service just puts it on the top 10. This is what's
of
streaming right now. And it's like, it's not top 10 maybe in the whole, like, licensing library, but because they just got it, they need to pump, people need to whatever. So, what's like, that guy's gonna tell you that movie has been renting off the shelf like nonstop. And I think what's really interesting is like putting it in movie theater, like waiting rooms. I don't know if that's right, but
I know what you mean.
Like put it in like the lobby of your local movie theater.
Yes.
Sell posters, make the store that you had in Blockbuster and partner it with an AMC.
Yes. And that's what we were kind of saying. Like, instead of having a movie drop the streaming right away, have it be like incentivize you to still go to the theater.
Yeah.
You don't have to go see the movie anymore in the theater. Have it, releasing to Blockbuster for these, I don't know, 2 to 4 weeks before.
Right, exclusive.
Yes. That way, if you miss the theater window, you still have this 2 to 4 weeks before everybody in the world knows about it.
That'd be sick, like if you're like an AMC A-lister or like a Cinemark member, that like you gain access to those titles for free.
That'd be sick.
And like, I think there's something about holding a physical copy in your hand, seeing the artwork done by so many people put in their effort into making this, and that's gone now.
Yeah, I know, like we've talked off camera about like how cool it was to get the bonus disc and watch all the bonus features and behind the scenes interviews. Now they just drop to YouTube. But then also, like you said, the theater covers, like what sticks out to me, like in Knives Out when it came out, like the cover of the physical copy, if you popped the disc out and flipped it and put the cover back in, all the knives pointed.
Right, it was like the clear casing. If you slid it on the back of it,
if you reversed it, it pointed to who we're not going to spoil it, who committed the crime. And like just little shit like that is lost.
But think about that. Somebody put their effort into graphic design to make that and then come up with that, and that's gone.
It's gone.
No one even, some people see it and know about it, but like the physical aspect of movies plays such a pivotal role. And the fact that they're eliminating that is just awful. I think especially after this Sony thing, I've never been more on the forefront to say we need to make an effort and a conscious effort to bring physical media back. I would say one last thing that we need to say is lengthen the movie window times for releases.
Yes.
Stop putting movies to streaming in a month. Yeah. Because you're not incentivizing people to get to theaters. And the funny part is we don't know the numbers. I'm sure there are people's full-time jobs studying analytics to see, all right, this is the right window. Yeah. But in my opinion, I look at it, a new movie that I might not be interested in seeing. But if I knew it was going to take 5 months to see it, I would be like, all right, you know what? I'll spend the $11 and go see it. Yeah. But now I'm like, oh, I'll wait 45 days. It'll drop on Amazon Prime. I won't have to worry about it.
And again, like you said, there's someone studying the analytics, but you got to make sure the movie times are great too, because there's a lot of times, like after like a week and a half of like those times,
they show one showing
once or twice, and it's either at like 10 in the morning on a Tuesday, or like 10:45 at night. Yeah. Like, dude, the normal everyday person, they're not gonna be able to make those times. Right. And I get it, they want to save the bigger theaters for the newer movies, but I feel like there's less blockbuster, those types of movies you talked about earlier where everybody's gonna go see. That really doesn't exist anymore. So you don't need 7 theaters showing the same movie after a week, you know?
Yep. I honestly just am astonished that we're at this moment where a company, a big corporation can just decide that you don't own what you own anymore. Yeah. It's actually sickening. Like it angers me. I'm going to physical media now. You're gonna see me collecting Blu-ray.
Yeah, so guys, let us know in the comments. Would you guys go back to Blockbuster, whether that be in the theater or just a regular storefront, to, bring back that feeling of owning physical media? Let us know.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and check out our other episodes.